Okay. I think we got it this time. All right, let's go live on TikTok. Well, the vertical format didn't work. Oh well. This is the VeeFriends Daily Comic. I'm going to go live here on a couple of the other platforms. We're live across all of the different VeeFriends channels. So I'm live on Instagram. We're live over on TikTok now. Good morning, Instagram. Good morning, YouTube. Where else are we? Facebook, LinkedIn, everywhere. Great. All right. I tried to go live vertical across all the channels and it didn't work. So we'll try again next time. No time for all that. But it's looking good here over on TikTok and Instagram. All right, cool. Good morning, everyone. How's my day going? What's up, Dat, over on YouTube? Day's going great. Just chilling out. Gonna draw some comics here. Get to some inking. Oh, look, it did the thumbs up automatically. That's weird. Yeah, we're live on across all the channels. I tried to go vertical today, but it didn't quite. Something didn't work. It still was trying to give the vertical stream horizontally and it wasn't working. Technical difficulties. So, what are we doing today? I'm going to look through, it's been Generous Gerbil Week over on turn up the music up a little bit. There we go. Get myself settled in. I wish I could just push a button and have it magically go, but so if you've been paying attention to the comics this week on VeeFriends, we've had Generous Gerbil. If you're new to VeeFriends, well, let's just kick it off with one of those plugs for what VeeFriends is. VeeFriends is over 280 characters created by Gary Vaynerchuk. You may also know him as Gary V. We have over 280 characters you can explore on VeeFriends.com. You can collect the trading cards. We also have the minis. Forgot to put my mini on for the day. Let's go to that scene. Uh-oh. Nothing seems to be working today. Interesting. All right, well, it's weird. There we go. That's the one that's the version that I want there. We're just gonna stick to this. So we have the minis. I'm gonna put my mini on. I got Humble Hedgehog sitting here waiting. They're like pencil toppers. Give me inspiration for the day. Yeah, you can explore all the characters over on the VeeFriends website. And you can also read all the comics here in Comic Corner. So if you go to Comic Corner, you can see all of the comics. Here's today's comic. We're going to take a look at that in a second. All characters. And if you click a character that you like inside the alphabetical, or just kind of explore them, you can click one and it should open up. And they'll show you all the comics that they're tagged in, if they're tagged properly. Sometimes I seem to mess that up when I'm tagging things, but pretty good. We have over 113 comics now. on the website that you can read through. And that's what I'm going to be drawing one of the latest ones today. Before I do that, we like to look at, by the way, Dat, how's my day going? Well, my stream didn't start correctly, so that sucked, but just got to roll with it. So, who's over on TikTok? Morning, Steve. Thanks, Michael, for the flowers over there. What's up, Instagram? Hey, Mary over on Instagram. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Going to get into some drawing here. We got to do a couple minutes of technical setup because technology never wants to work when you just want it to work. But all right, cool. Let's take a look at today's comic. I went with Willful Wizard hanging out with Generous Gerbil. The idea here is they're watching some kids fly some kites. And the wizard's like, behold the ancient magic of youth. And Gerbil's pointing out that there's not a single spell book in sight, so they're not using any kind of magic except for their imagination. And then we have Wizard and Gerbil remembering when they were kids. He's like, back then I could turn a stick into a sword, a ball into a best friend. I don't know if you ever did this when you were a kid, but fighting trees like they were monsters or something like that. Gerbil just says, all I needed was a box. Pretty much that's still the only thing that kids or cats need. Just give them a box and they're going to turn it into, use their imagination. And he says, why did we ever stop? Somewhere along the way, we seem to forget the magic and play and the joy of sharing. And Generous Gerbil's like, death and taxes? I struggled with that line because I was like, should it be debt and taxes? But everyone knows death and taxes, right? So he says, yes, the curse of adulthood. And he's looking a little bit bummed out. So is his staff. The magic staff is bummed out as well. And so Gerbil's like, get in. Like, hurry up. We'll break this curse before we remember that we're adults. And he's like, let's see if this thing can outrun my debt. And originally I was going to put IRS, but, it's a little bit... we don't want anybody to be outrunning the IRS, but it's funny either way. So, yeah. Cats. The cat is on the prowl here in the office. All right, cool. So what time is it? 8:45. Let's get to inking some comics here today. Turn down this music a little bit. A little bit loud. TikTok, you don't really hear the music probably. Maybe. I don't know. It's a different view over on TikTok. Let's get into this view for a little bit. So I've got a little strip going here. We've got some bubbles. I won't give the words away right now, but if you keep watching, maybe they'll pop up. What I like to do in these streams is I'm glad that I got the pencils done so I can kind of just chat a little bit. If you have any questions about VeeFriends or comics or just want to talk about life or whatever, say hello. Let me know. Let me know you're here. But yeah, it's a pretty chill stream. I'm going to draw some comics, talk about whatever comes to my mind, and stream of consciousness as I draw. And this one's kind of about wrong layer there. This one's kind of about Generous Gerbil. I mean, he's just like constantly thinking about other people. I might even jump into another strip too and start inking that a little bit. We'll see. Don't give too much away, but if you're spending the time on this stream, I don't mind. You're getting a sneak peek behind, what's going on. You get the inside dope. I don't want to be too cards to the chest hiding things from you. If you're here spending time, I think you're hanging out with me in the studio. That's kind of the vibe. You're over my shoulder. I'll look up occasionally. I'll check out the chats. Good morning, Megan. We're on TikTok. See, Instagram, I got to kind of scroll back through, but hello, the Flying Care Bear over on Instagram. Good morning to you. Happy Friday. Can't see my OBS. Where is it? It's broken. All right, great. Let's just go with this scene here. So yeah, the comic strips, the daily comic strips, we can kind of get in a little bit, dig a little deep into the characters. So of course, Generous Gerbil, he gives away more than just his money bags. But people might think, oh, he must be rich or something. And I kind of went a different way with it. Like, I think he's a little more humble than people imagine. He's not like a rich billionaire or something like that. But he's just so generous. And, the way that we think about the characters behind the scenes with Gary and the team is, Gary likes to say, like, a lot, at their best and at their worst. So as I'm writing or drawing the characters, I'm always thinking of, okay, here we have Generous Gerbil. What's it mean to be generous? Okay, got that. And we know the definition of generosity and things like that. And most people just kind of think on the surface of as far as like donating money or being generous, like some billionaire giving away a bunch of money. But we're donating to, like, pet shelter or something like any kind of nonprofit. But it could be like generous with your time, generous with your knowledge that you're giving away. So those are some of the topics that we can kind of, hit on a little bit during this week. But then at its worst, so if you're generous and like generosity at its worst, like if you're too generous, what does that mean? What does that look like? And that's when you get into some interesting character development there, right? You get beyond the surface of the topic and you kind of start to dig a little bit deeper into what does it mean to be too generous. And then when you are, so I'm just going to talk through that a little bit, just talk out loud, because it helps me think about the character too. But if you're too generous, I got to thinking about, well, maybe you're just constantly thinking about others so much, giving away everything that you have, all of your time, and you're not leaving really anything left for yourself. It might be that that's what you enjoy. It might be your life's mission, like Gerbil's mission is to just help as many people as he can. But in the end, maybe he's left with a messy house or his own needs. Maybe he doesn't have enough money for groceries because he just gave all of his money away. Think about that, because now that I'm thinking about it, I knew some people like that in the nonprofit world. I worked for a nonprofit for a little while, flowbots.org and Youth on Record out in Denver, and met a lot of people in the nonprofit space that were basically very generous gerbils. I mean, they gave their time and effort, pretty much every waking moment to their missions, and it's pretty admirable, you know. But not that they would want anything more than just being humble and kind of, you know, living their life. But I would say people that you might think would be spending their millions on mansions and awesome places, like my friend Johnny, Jamie. I don't know. He lived in a little apartment, basic, basic groceries. Not a whole lot of not a whole lot of things in his house. It's a little messy, a little unkept because he was just so busy that he didn't have time to stop and think about it or even really judge himself about it. So that's kind of. And then when we go, okay, so if that's the opposite of, or if that's the curse of being too generous with everyone else and your time and money, then what friend would you need out of the VeeFriends? What other trait would you need to kind of bring you back to the middle, right? Captain Create, are my pencils and brushes available for Procreate? Yeah. Good place to get those would be over on I have them two different places, but gumroad.com. So if you look at Gumroad, gumroad.com, and then search Gumroad for like ultimate brush or ultimate template, ultimate comic template. That's me. I don't want to plug my ultimate brush pack or something like that. Or they're also available over on Draw or Die.co. If you're looking for the brush pack. Draw or Die.co. I've got the brushes over there. I basically only use, I only use one of these pencils, one of these inks, and I use basically 3 brushes here for all of the VeeFriends comics. My inker brush here. It's just kind of like crisp and smooth, kind of a little bit rough. I like to make it look like hand ink pen. I wish I would have been able to figure out that vertical stream this morning. Man, darn it, that's bothering me. I got the scenes all set up yesterday, and it just didn't work. When I tried to go live, it just forced it into the regular proportion or whatever. Okay. Turn down that music a little bit. All right. Yeah, rock on trucking said, so true, you can get exhausted from being an empathic person. True. I never really saw any of my friends from the nonprofit world really get too stressed out. Like, they seemed all pretty chill. If anything, they'd be like stressed out about like the times where they were going for grants or something like that. It was always really focused on what they were up to. Morning, Corso. Corso's over in the chat. Yeah, so I just have like a little bit of a mission to ink a bunch of stuff here this morning. Get through it as much as possible. I also kind of feel like when I think of Generous Gerbil, I kind of feel like his house is full of stuff. Not like a hoarder, but like he just has a bunch of stuff. Like, because he buys things from people just to support them. And then he either just gives those things away or he just stores them. Doesn't necessarily enjoy them. I know people like that as well. Collectors that are just like wanting to support artists or businesses, and they just go like, cool, I'll take 20 of the things that you're selling, which is super nice to do. But that's what's going on here with these boxes. I don't even have to really spell that out for you. If you kind of know, kind of just get a vibe for like, oh, okay, he's got a lot of stuff there. He's either busy or he's quite a collector. He doesn't even have any furniture for himself, you see. That's how he's so intent on helping other people that he's just not even thinking about, giving himself a couch. Just sitting on the floor with a laptop, some money bags. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Thinking about the characters and kind of going a little deeper. Let me pick this screen off a little bit here. Going a little bit deeper on the characters, like Gary said the other day when I was chatting with him, and he's talking about like going beyond the surface of things and getting deeper into the topic. That could be any of the 280 plus traits, but they call it like tier 3 emotional, or tier 3 social, like the deeper thing that people are looking for. Also, there's people that all these traits kind of connect to other things, which is interesting. There's people that give, but they give with an expectation, thinking that, oh, I gave you something and now I should get something in return. So, for instance, like if Gerbil gave to a organization that he liked, he wouldn't really care what they did with the money. He wouldn't be like, well, what do I get now? Where's my free t-shirt or or whatever. Like, he just was like, oh, here's something I believe in. They need some help. I'm going to help with what I can give. And then when he's out of money, he's giving his time, Or sometimes it's not about the money too. Like there was another strip that got scrapped for the week. Not scrapped, but we just chose a different path. Was like asking for money, but the money's not really what you need. You need more time and more volunteers, more dedication and more work. And it wasn't about just throwing money at a problem or a project doesn't always solve it. But saying like, okay, you need a project manager. You need someone to really help you come in and fix this, community center or something, whatever it is, But I think that's kind of some nonprofits kind of mess up that way. They think, oh, we just need a bunch of donors, and once we got the money will just buy the things that we need. But really, it doesn't really, though. It can get you the resources maybe, but what you really need is the work sometimes to be done, and the right people to to do it. So yeah. I just had a talk. Megan said she just had a talk with her kids talking about love languages, and that talk got really deep. That's not the mindset to have in that situation. Yeah. Um, I was thinking like which characters would be a good best friend for a generous gerbil, you know? Um, Part of me was thinking like Chill Chinchilla, you know? Sticking with their kind of rodent. Not rodent. What would you call it? I guess they are kind of like a rodent family. Like we talked about Chill Chinchilla behind the scenes, where like Chill Chinchilla knows how to get stuff done, but he's all about like avoiding burnout. So like you got to be generous with yourself a little bit too. You know, it's kind of one that I'm working on. Somebody asked what I'm drawing in. I'm drawing on an iPad Pro. We have more action on this feed than the LinkedIn feed. Oh yeah, Instagram is really like it's hard to follow the chat because the people that join fly by and it messes up. There's not like just a comment only. When people join, and it buries the comments, which they gotta fix that over on Instagram. But there's a lot of people coming in and out more on Instagram than even the TikTok feed, which is very interesting. Um, but we have the capacity to kind of blast the stream out to all the channels. So why not? We might catch someone over on another platform. I'll reset the stream every 15 minutes or so. If you're not familiar with VeeFriends, it's over 280 characters with some positive traits. Kind of our mission is to kind of make the world a better place through, I'm doing it through comics, through the VeeFriends, but VeeFriends as a whole has like the trading card game and, bringing people together, families and friends around these characters and these traits. It kind of gives you an excuse to think about, not an excuse, but a good moment to think about the traits. Like what is, yeah, they look cute and they whatever, but like what is generous gerbil here? Like, so having a moment is really cool for parents. For parents out there, it's cool to have something like that that's not like, cheesy, not cheese. I'm not gonna poop on Sesame Street or anything like that. But like when something's like really little kid looking, it's like little kids are pretty savvy. So little kids might be like, this is lame, mom and dad. Like, I'm too old for this shit. Like, but if you're like, oh, cool, this generous gerbil, like he's in some adventure strips and, or there's the trading cards, there's the merch, but there's also like, oh, cool, he's got like a little storyline going on, or they see that fun thing with like the fire, him putting out fires and like, it's just fun, it's a moment to go like, oh, look at that funny thing happening, but also to be able to say like, oh, hey, why don't we find something that we can donate to, or how can we donate our time locally? Having a conversation with your kids, or even just yourself if you don't have kids out there, asking yourself like, when's the last time you were generous with your time or money, or yourself? Maybe like, got to be generous to yourself too. So I'm really too worried about these. We're gonna skip that lettering for right now. Might come back to that. Chilla sounds like me. Bring on over on LinkedIn said that. Let's go find Chilla. I know I put him in the probably this bucket. Maybe. Let's go. This was the Chilla. Little beach bag there. It's cute. Definitely chill character. Did I put him in another one? I thought. A good place to look would be on the internet or on the website. I tagged him properly. I thought he was in another comic, but could be wrong. Might have written him in one and we didn't draw it. There's a lot of different ideas behind the scenes that some of them get made and some of them kind of go into the hold bucket, you know, like hold on this one, let's wait. Let's think about it some more. Jenner's gerbil with his weird, like he's got this big toothy smile when he goes, you know, pretty big, even beyond the, you know, the characteristics of him carrying those money bags and the cards. For me, it's like that big toothy smile is what really sets him. He's got some choppers there. Megan, hope you feel better. Feeling better. What's going on Instagram? It's early, you know. It's 9 o'clock, so there's people going to work. There's people still like waking up out on the West Coast. We got our friends over in the EU, or Steve's over there in Ireland. He's always on the TikTok feed. So even though there's only like what? Well, there's 5 people on the TikTok right now. Hey guys. Hey Carrie Ann, Steve watching, Megan. Who else coming in and out? Nicole just popped in. Hey, I just want to thank you for popping in and out of these other feeds. Like I'm thinking so much about social media these days and like especially the, you know, these comics and our activity really live on the social platforms and always trying to figure out like why, you know, some people jump from feed to feed too. Like people will pop in the Twitch feed and then they'll pop and then they'll come back to the Instagram feed and then they, you know, sometimes there's delays on the streams. I don't know. But some people prefer watching it on YouTube. People seem to stay longer on the YouTube feed. You know, looking at all that data, like to see. But most of the streams, like especially on Instagram, especially now that Instagram's showing our feed to different people that are not followers now. That's interesting. Like a suggested live feed. People are popping in and out. You might not know what VeeFriends is. You might only see it for a second. I've had those conversations with people inside of the chat. You know, if you're chatting, I'm going to see your comments and I might say hello back and help me procrastinate. Help me have a conversation. But I see those messages in the chat where people go like, what is this? What's this, you know, cute character that you're drawing? And I'm like, oh, it's VeeFriends. So like it is brand discovery, but do people actually like, do they follow? Do they like, you know, do they remember it? It's an interesting challenge for people on TikTok. People that are all about TikTok. I'm like, can you name me 5 TikTok accounts that you follow regularly? Like name the brand. like name the creator, and it's really hard to do it. And so I'm like, well, it's not so great for brand recall, or you know, you can recall the idea that you saw, like, oh, I saw this video on TikTok. Oh, what's the username? I don't remember, right? So like, well, we don't want to, for me, if my job is to make VeeFriends more memorable, then I don't know. I'm not too. I like TikTok a lot personally, but for my own stuff that I look at, I look at some other art stuff. I look at weird UFO things and just random senseless entertainment. I don't know if it's. I don't know if it's like the. There's so much. It's just overload. A little bit. Sensory overload. They kind of build it that way too. The newer platforms. It just is what it is. It's like the world that we're living in now. But it's interesting to hear from you guys. Noella over on TikTok said, such clean line art. What software do you use? This is Procreate over on the iPad Pro and just an Apple Pencil. Brushes really don't matter. I mean, they do, but they don't. Like, it's just your own personal feel. There's thousands of brushes that you can use. So the brushes that I use, I just kind of fine tune them to the feeling that I like when I draw. I also have this screen protector thing that makes it feel a little more like paper, a little more, just a little bit of resistance. It's called a rock paper pencil from AstroPad, and it has like a metal tip. Can't really see it. There we go. There's a metal tip on the edge of the Apple Pencil. What is your favorite way to have coffee in the morning, and what's your favorite type of coffee bean? I like all types of coffee. So it's really hard to pick one. But I'll say that I'm having, this is called Three Rivers Blend, so it's a blend of 3 different beans from Presto George in Pittsburgh, PA, and it's the Ethiopian coffee. What are those called? Like Yirgacheffe. I like those beans too. A little bit of a sweet bean. How do I drink my coffee? I wish that I could say that I drink it black, but I put oat milk in it. A little bit of oat milk. And try to avoid dairy just because, at least in my coffee. And I try my best to avoid sugar, but sometimes I just got to have some sugar. Like, YOLO, sugar's bad for you, but there's a certain, I feel like a little bit brings out some sort of flavor of the bean, if that makes sense. Or it's just an excuse to have more sugar in my life, because sugar is very addicting, and I do a pretty good job of, I don't drink as much as I used to, sugar wise. There's way bigger problems to have in life. But I do go on these kicks a lot more than I used to, where I drink my coffee black. You don't need to know any of this, really, but I'm just saying, just speaking out loud as I'm making this. Maybe too much information, I don't know. I'd stopped putting sugar in my coffee or anything like that. I don't drink sugary drinks, but then I don't know. It's so weak. It's so lame to say it, but like I don't know. I had some stressors in my life with the had some like death in the family and you know bummer things that were just kind of like, oh man, I just want to have like just want to drink a coffee the way that I like it. And I'm like, it's like that inner voice inside that's tricking you, going, oh look, this will make you feel so much better if you just put some sugar in your coffee. And I'm like, yeah. So it's like a weakness, willpower thing. So that happened a couple weeks ago, or well, a month ago now. I started putting sugar in my coffee one morning. I'm just like, forget it, man. I'm stressed. I was feeling stressed out about some personal life stuff, and we're just bummed out, not stressed out, just bummed. And I'm like, you know what? I need some energy, sugar back in the coffee. And as the month progresses, I'm like, gosh darn it, what did I do? Sugar's evil. Struggle is real. But they could be so worse. It could be so much worse. I know this. Very good problem to have. That the only problem I have, really, the only addiction that I really have is drawing and sugar, and you know, could be way worse. Okay, what do we got here? Yeah, Noella over on TikTok. As far as drawing goes, I don't think I've tried to draw directly on the iPad screen, and I don't like that feeling of glass, drawing on glass. So I always put a matte finish cover on. But this newer thing here, um, rock paper pencil, and it's so nice that it's like static cling, so it's not like I'm not going to mess it up with air bubbles or something weird underneath it. It's nice. And I've drawn, probably over 1,000 hours on this screen, this specific screen cover, and it doesn't really scratch, and it's nice. I don't really see any scratches on there. It doesn't smudge as much. I don't really have oily hands or anything like that, but I like to. There's a little tiny scratch on the screen on the cover there, but you can't feel it really. Green beans. If you're still watching, what's your favorite coffee? What would you suggest? I drink this coffee called Highlander Cream. It's probably an Arabica bean, Arabica bean. I can't say the words this morning. Um, Fun fact: I used to work in a coffee shop a long time ago, very long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. Worked at my friend's coffee shop early in the morning. Coffee on Crawford. Kind of a legendary little spot around here. They had some cool punk rock shows in the evening sometimes. Sometimes some jazz shows too. We had Harold Betters, jazz legend guy, playing there. Yeah. If I go, yeah, Colombian roast. Yeah, straight up Colombian coffee is what normally. The tinier green beans, the tinier, um, what are they called? They're sweeter or something. I can give or take those. I like a roastier flavor of my coffee. And if you're gonna drink black coffee, you gotta make it and then thermos it. You can't be letting that sit and get all burnt. Nobody wants burnt coffee. Come on. That's what he's saying. He's like, "Do you want burnt coffee?" No. Stretch it out. It's funny though, the things that your brain will tell you, like to get back to some bad habit, you know, a long time ago, probably 6 years ago or something, when I worked in an office situation, I'd have some stressful meetings and things, and then I'd look forward to lunch, and I found myself like just escaping out of the car, like in the car, get out of here, go pick up some kind of fast food. And I realized really quickly, I was like, oh, this is bad. And I would feel like crap after I ate it too. So I realized, like, man, I just didn't have the willpower. I just was using food as like an escape. And I was like, this is lame. So I stopped doing that after a while. It's like the problem isn't, I got to fix the problem. Why are you having stressful meetings? you know, shouldn't have stressful meetings. But I did fix all that over time. I'll tell you, my viewpoint, my personal viewpoint in life is that there's really nothing that's worth being stressed out about. If you start to feel kind of stressed about some situation or something you heard, and it happens, like you start to feel the stress of others when they're talking, talking smack or showing you some bad news, and you're like, wow, and then you're starting to feel kind of stirred up yourself. You got to dial it back in somehow. You got to be like, you got to have a meter, like pretend you have a meter. That's what I do. Like this alarm that goes like, woo, woo, like this has nothing to do with me. This is not really affecting my life. My family is healthy. You know, everything is good. Like, because otherwise, everything, the internet, news, everything in the world will just suck you into this bad mood. And then how productive are you going to be, when you're all in a bad mood and it sucks, unhappy? Then you'll be unhappy, and who wants to be unhappy? Most people want to be happy. They just struggle because of everything I just said. You get pulled into worrying about money or worrying about the future. Just gotta kind of take it as it comes. Angel was wondering if this size fits an IG post. It does. So the way that I format the comic is that this size here is 1080 across by 1350, which is the portrait size. So if you go to our Instagram and swipe through, that's what the panel sizes are. So I chop those up separately, and then this all stays in proportion to be a portrait size. So this is like the perfect dimension for that, which is why I kind of try to stick to this format for the comic. And then it also, if we want to print it in a book sometime, it will fit a nice 8 by 10 book or a manga sized. I don't remember the manga size. You know what I'm talking about, the manga size books. So I try to, think about that. Instagram, I'm going to look through here real quick. I just kind of scroll back until I see a comment. Yes, this is Procreate. The app is Procreate that I'm drawing in. It is true. Procreate is awesome. Yes, it is. Paul, good morning. We're on X. Paul.jwh pirate flag. Flying the flag. Yeah. Boy, I really wish, I don't know. I don't know if there's a way to do it, but like, and I couldn't chronicle. I think about Gary a lot with the document your process thing, and that's kind of what we're doing right here, but he's doing it on some other level, where he has his live streams all day long. And, um, I'd have to rig up my whole house because sometimes I need to step away from all of this and kind of move away from the computer a little bit and the creative world. Take a walk, you know. Yesterday I went to a coffee shop just for a little bit, lunchtime, went down there, hung out for a minute. And I find it both good to step away, but also it's annoying to me sometimes where I'm like, there's like, if I take a task to a place that's public, I sometimes can't concentrate as much. I can be in the office and working around people and drawing all day, but like a random coffee shop where someone to the left of me is having a conversation about their mortgage or their home loan thing, and like then there's this conversation happening over here, and then I'm like, whoa, man, this was like too much. But I challenge myself to get out of here as well. So it's not really conducive to having a camera on me 24/7. But I think about the documenting more and my thoughts because it kind of shows that like we do think about these characters way deeper than you know on the surface. And I like to ask you guys in the streams, hey Erwin, what's up over on TikTok? How's it going? Thanks for watching. Thanks for popping in. Where am I talking from? My mouth. No, I'm talking from south of Pittsburgh, PA. Just south of Pittsburgh, PA. Part of the Rust Belt of America. The old steel mills have all been turned into medical or technology places now. I mean, there's still some steel mills and things, but it's definitely more of a high tech. Google's here. We got Google, we got Carnegie Mellon. A lot of stuff going on in Pittsburgh. It's an interesting city, little mini city, little micro city. I like it. It's Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. So someone asked me what I like most about this area and living here, and I would say it's the neighborly thing. Most of the time, I mean, neighbors are usually helpful. If something's going down, strangers will help you. When I lived in Southern California, not the case. If your car broke down or something like that, you're just screwed. Better call someone. If you're broken down here on the side of the road, somebody is stopping to help you, or at least to say like, "Hey, man, you all right? Let's go. Like, let's help you out." There's just a good neighborly vibe here that I like. Morning Savvy, how are you? We're on TikTok. Sorry, I wasn't being cool. I wasn't, I'm just being. Ask my wife, like she'd get me in the morning and she's kind of not grumpy, but like, she's just waking up and I'm like full of. Am I Australian? I'm not. Do I sound Australian? I'm not. I'm not Australian. I'm not even going to insult my Australian friends by trying to do an Australian accent. I'm not going to do it. Do have some Australian friends though. I got some expatriates, expats living down there in Australia. Shout out to John, 2020. It's beautiful in Australia where he's at. I don't know where he's at, but see his little live streams that he does. Really wonderful looking place. There's a lot of deadly things in Australia though. So I'll just stay in Pennsylvania, man. We might have an occasional rattlesnake up in the woods here, but I've never seen one. Nothing deadly in the woods here, really, too much. If I have an accent, sometimes it comes through. It's the Pittsburgh accent, saying yins and that. We say and that a lot. Comics and that. Gonna get my coffee in that. Oh, yinsers. I love you guys, but I got a hat that says yins. So much creativity around Pittsburgh too. Like it's got a good art scene. Pittsburgh Arts Festival is awesome. Hey man, Pittsburgh, yay! Love you, Pittsburgh. But I'm south of Pittsburgh, so I'm in like I'm in a small little town. Why is that, you say? Well, it's cheaper to live here, to be honest. That's why I'm here. I lived in Southern California for a while. I lived in, city, but you can buy a house here for next to nothing. I think we bought our house for $168,000, and it's a nice little plot of land. They got a nice little yard and little community. My first house that I ever bought. Some people don't even buy houses. Like you don't even think about buying a house. In southwestern Pennsylvania, you can get some deals. But the first house we ever bought was a little 2-bedroom house with like almost a half acre of land, maybe a little bit more than a half acre of land for $17,000. Pretty neat. 17 grand. So you can get quite a lot of house for better bang for your buck here. And thank goodness for the internet. Creators can kind of work from wherever. But I got to say, I like the city too. I like to go. I'm going up to New York next week and hang out a couple days in the office. I like to go up to be in the office around the VeeFriends crew and Gary, and I'll be up there a couple days next week. And I like the city too. I like people, which is really funny because for a long time I would say things like, I don't like people, I don't want to be around people, people. But the truth is I like people. I like to talk to strangers. Apparently, too much sometimes, because that's the neighborly part that we bring from where I'm from. Kind of always want to know people's stories and things. You know, they're probably just like, "Shut up, dude. I want to talk to you." Sometimes, but I try to bring a good vibe. Although, again, I must say to people, nobody's listening that really would know, but apparently I have a resting sad face or a resting angry face, and I promise you that I'm not either of those things. I'm usually 95% happy, and I definitely want to. I don't know. I'm curious. I like to talk to people because everybody has a story and different background, and where you're from and what you do, and if you're listening with the sound on, tell me what you do. What do you do for a living? I'm curious. Got a lot of single moms, like single or stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home parents. It's 9:38. If you're at your work right now, you're not working. I know that. I'm not going to judge you because I appreciate you watching the comics. Be friends. But what do you do for a living? What's your deal? A lot of or a lot of business owners, small business owners, follow Be Friends. A lot of creators follow Be Friends because of Gary. And I told my friend about Gary's new book, Day Trading Attention, that's coming out. You can pre-order it now. Look at me shelling for Gary. He doesn't need me for that. But Gary's content and vibe has helped so many creators that I try to tell him, like, hey man, Gary's got a new book coming out. I haven't seen it yet, and I was like, I pre-ordered it, and they're like, well, don't you work for them? Couldn't you just get your own book? And I'm like, well, number one, I think I ordered it before I worked here officially. I'm just always going to buy anything that Gary's writing. And number two, I'm not going to be a cheapskate and ask for things for free. Come on, you gotta come on. It's a couple bucks. Get a good book for your shelf that you can lend to a friend or something. Um, but the reason I was kind of shilling it was because it's like stuff that he says is true. You know, I told Gary, I was like, I know I do a lot. I know I'm producing a lot of stuff, but it's still inspiring. I feel like I could do more. Gary makes me feel lazy. My wife would tell you that that's not true. She's like, you are not lazy, DJ. You need to, if anything, I need to like chill a little bit, right? I need to be a chill chinchilla, but I like it. I like to do this stuff. So I used to struggle with that a long time ago, and I still probably do. Like taking a break, you know. If you put me on, like, I went on family vacation when my kids were little. I was drawing for I forget who. I was drawing full time for somebody, and I had some deadlines, and I had some time off, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'm going to the beach. And the whole time I was at the beach, I just couldn't stop thinking about, which sucks because you should be spending time with your family. Nah, I was in my 20s, but it was just that's just who I am. I was like, I can't stop thinking about this. It wasn't like regretting being with my family or anything like that. It was more like oh, my brain just won't stop thinking about creating. I don't want it to stop because I think that I've listened to some artists, like musicians, that said that they stopped one day it just went away. Their passion for what they were doing just kind of went away, and I was like, oh man, I don't want that. So you know, Bob Dylan was one of them that said that. I'm listening to those warnings. Someone asked like Bob Dylan, like if he could ever recreate, or if he could ever like write like he used to, and he's like, I can't. It's gone. Like his whole world changed. It took away that thing, whatever it was. You can't get it back once you've entered some other world. It's like the muse leaves you, and I'm like, I don't want that. So you got to find a balance. If you got a day job or spending time with your family and balancing things if you have a family, kind of figuring out a way to, keep it under control. But I have a tendency of like, if I'm hanging out, I zone out. And I'm self-aware that I'm doing it now. I'm like, oh man, I'm doing it, doing the thing where I'm staring into space. Oh shit. Like, oh, watch my language there. That's what I say. I'm zoning out because my brain is like a million miles away. Phone is lagging. Your phone is lagging. Hustle Sprouts. Hey man, thanks for watching. I don't think the stream is lagging, but I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. Hopefully it's not laggy on the other platforms. Sometimes it just goes. Instagram isn't the great. I mean, I love Instagram, but the live streaming and like the connection stuff, it's just really janky sometimes. It's not as smooth as YouTube or TikTok or whatever. Hopefully they work on that because I do like Instagram. As an artist, I like Instagram. Cool, we've inked this whole. I've pretty much inked this whole thing in like an hour. It's pretty good. I'm making good time here. Thanks for hanging out. This is kind of like I described the stream to someone else the other day. Like, what do you do on the stream? You just draw? And I'm like, well, yeah, I draw, but I talk. I hang out with you guys. A lot of people are listening with the sound off, which is fine. But I also like to look up at these chats. I can see Instagram over here. I can see, show you exactly what I'm looking at. How do I go to? That's a different view. This is me. That's the iPad screen. Yeah. Just to show you a little bit behind the scenes, I'm going to hopefully not turn this camera off, but that's my Instagram feed over there. So I can see you chatting. I see Enzo. Enzo just joined. Hey, Enzo, what's up? Say hello. What's up, dude? This is TikTok over here. TikTok. Streetlight Art just followed the host. Thanks for the follow, dude. And then over here we have everyone else, like all that. Up there we've got some rock and roll posters. Got some Pearl Jam posters up in there. Look at that. I'm gonna get a studio tour now. That's what that looks like. There's more books and things up there. I like my astronaut. See if I can zoom in on that. My astronaut on the shelf. Got a big space there. Put some things there. I got a lot of business books and things, and a bunch of. Look at all the hats. Oh my goodness. Uh-oh. I just broke it. Uh-oh. I zoomed way in on the camera, and oh, there we go. I won't pan out on the floor, but yeah. What's that? Whoa. People like to say they like to see the room. A lot of Pearl Jam posters back there. I got a weird golden ship that I found at a place, and there's my little book rack. There's a oh, we were just talking. I took that from my old job at Spark Marketing off the wall. Well, they had it off the wall. They were going to throw it away. Over here, I've got my cat in the window guarding me, and the dog is just sleeping. And there's old Greg. If you know old Greg, one of the greatest books on advertising, Ogilvy on advertising, Deep Work. Those are all good books. Anyways, back to comics. I got a lot of stuff I can see. That's why I got to get out of here sometimes, guys. Like, there's a lot of things to look at in here, and I think I totally screwed up that camera feed. All right, I'm gonna try one more. I'm gonna try to replug it back in. This cord is very touchy. It doesn't like to be moved. Oh man. See, try to be nice and show you guys some stuff, and TikTok got to see it all. Sorry, everyone else. All right, let's fix this real quick. Let me go. Shoot, what did I do, man? It really doesn't like that when I do that. I think we might have just lost the phone feed. Come on, man. Come back. Nope. I broke it. I broke it. This is part of live streaming, guys. Like, you know, like I'm live on TikTok right now with it. Mm-hmm. Come on. Nope. Well, the rest of the stream, we're going to go with TikTok and watch what we're doing, but we're going to go all full iPad for the rest of the stream and on the other streams. Sorry about that, folks. It's a touchy device. It's a little bit delayed too over on Instagram. It's part of live streaming, you know? It just is what it is. Cancel. Okay. That's how it goes. To my other friends that are doing like live streams, I would say don't worry about perfection. It's okay to mess that up and break something during the stream too. You know, just be yourself. Who cares? You know, this. Sometimes I like to do the hand lettering. Totally messed that up. Got too excited to showing the room off here. It's messy. I would never show you the floor. It's pretty. Oh man, there's a lot of stuff to do. When it becomes Father's Day or something like that, I'm going to be like, can you guys can somebody like clean my room? That'd be a great gift if I could just come back and it'd be completely, you know, organized and cleaned and click, clack, clack. Is it? Okay, good. Making good time today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Instagram, you're probably gonna, or not Instagram, but TikTok, you're probably gonna hear my neighbor cutting their grass or doing yard work because I have the window open, and I don't think the other mic picks it up as much, but enjoy the soothing sounds of one of my neighbor's lawnmowers. Again, for those that are like thinking about live streaming, whatever you're doing, I used to get super frustrated. Like if there was a noise or, I'd be like, I gotta end this stream. Oh my gosh. No, I just don't. You just gotta kind of let go of that perfection and just roll with it. I've had the stream completely crash, and it's frustrating, but it's like, whatever. The camera goes off. I want to keep drawing. I can't stop and mess with that too much. Okay, I got a little bit more to do over here, like a little ka-ching. This point, 380 people watching, probably with most of them with the sound off. If you have the sound on, tell me what your favorite VeeFriend character is and why. I'm curious as to the why. What character of VeeFriends do you like and why? And if you're not familiar with VeeFriends is over 280 characters created by Gary Vaynerchuk. You all may know him as Gary V as well, but got a lot of stuff going on VeeFriends.com. You can dive into everything there. We got the minis. I can't show you that, but TikTok can see the minis. We have the comic corner up here. So if you can click that, then you can go through and read all of the comics. So we have over 113 comics on there to read. Pretty crazy. We have less than 100 days to VCon, I think. So I'll be at VCon doing some stuff there. Can't really give you the details because either we're not allowed to talk about it yet, or I don't know. It's probably that I don't know. I can guess what I might be doing there. What I'm willing to do there would be, I'm going to probably draw some comics live. I'm probably going to draw some things for VeeFriends people, fans, the community live to surprise you with some stuff. I like to do that. Getting a little bit into the deep work here of this, and I'm going to go ahead and just I'm going to fire up so the balloons are already in there, you can see. Not quite giving away the text yet. But again, if you have a favorite VeeFriend, tell me what the VeeFriend is in the chat. Say hello. I appreciate it. Is there a VeeFriend that you would like to see in the comic? Are you going to color them as well? Right now, I'm going to color this one up right now. Let's go. I'm going to just grab, let's just grab the full. This is a good one. Just going to grab one of the hustling hamsters out of there, copy all. Then I'm going to take him into this strip just to kind of give myself the color palette real quick. There he is. I'll make him small over here, and then I'll turn off these balloons and set the inks to reference layer. Make sure that I'm on the right layer for coloring, which would be great. And now I can kind of go through and hopefully if I've closed my lines, turn off these pencil layers. Let's do that. I can go continue fill, and now we can just go through and get like the overarching main colors. Right. Okay. So much faster than how I was doing it before. Oh, those aren't closed, apparently. At least I can get the flats in for the, we call them flats. So it's like without the highlights, but I'll do some of the highlights and stuff as well here for you. And then I'll put in some of the shadows and whatnot in a minute. Oh, must not have closed the line up here somewhere right there, I think. I'm not too worried about it. I'll just not overthink it too much. Just kind of fly through, get the colors in here as quickly as possible. The ones that I at least did correctly. Closing the lines. If I don't close the lines when I'm saying that out loud, I'm speaking another language probably, but if I don't close the lines, then the color can escape and kind of blast all over the place. So that's what I'm talking about when I say I didn't close the line. And sometimes I don't like to close the line because it's like part of the style. You don't always want to have this like really robotic looking, you know, thing. But he's got white teeth. I can go through and just grab his teeth and their eyes, mouth. I'm gonna try one thing real quick. Nope. Still can't get the iPhone to turn back on. Oh well. Not too worried about it. That's what I get for trying to show behind the scenes stuff. So then, if we're just going to just focus on this character here, this version of the generous gerbil. What's everyone's weekend plan? Think about that too a lot. People go, "What are you working on this weekend? What are you gonna do?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. I gotta go get a haircut, but I'm probably gonna work on some comics because that's what I like to do. You know, try to get a little bit ahead, a little bit of housework, maybe. You know, basic life stuff, nothing extravagant for an artist or a creator. An entrepreneur. Weekends are just another day. You'll hear when you hear Gary say it over in his content. If you're living for Friday, you're not living really. It's like you must hate your week. To me, I'm like, oh man, the week is over, but it's not over. It just keeps going. Just keeps going. Like I use Fridays as a way to like look back at the week and go, all right, cool. How much did we do? How'd it go? You know, are the comics performing well? How are you guys liking them? That kind of stuff. Like, look at that. Look at that a lot. Yeah, at least the flatting is quick sometimes if I do it right on the coloring here, but sometimes the actual what I'm doing here is I'm like throwing a shadow line down underneath where the light would be, shadow underneath his arm. That's actually his blanket, so I'm not worried about that. Some kind of little blanket he's got. So I like the three-tone shading. We got a mid-tone, we got a highlight, and we got a shadow. It's very classic, sort of classic animation style, animated looking style, cartoon style. But it makes your stuff pop a little bit better when you've got the three tones going on. Curious if you're listening with the sound on. If you've told me before, you don't have to say it again. What do you like about watching the streams? Like, what's your big takeaway from any feedback for me? You know, um, how can I make the streams better? Or what do you like about them? What can I do more of? I'm always interested in, listening and hearing what you have to say, either good or bad. If you hate the comics, well, you're here watching it. So I doubt it, but hopefully no hate. But I like to hear good feedback, bad feedback, whatever. Anything to improve. I'm thinking a lot about the streams for sure. Just improving the stream quality. How long should the streams be? Do people like to pop in and out? Would you like to see like a full strip done constantly, in one stream? The whole process from start to finish. Do you not care? Are you just chilling? What is it about the strips or the streams that you like to watch? Some people say they just like to listen and watch. It's chill. That's cool. Probably get that the most. Is people just saying like, "Hey, I'm just chilling out for a minute," and that's cool because like Yeah, man. You're hanging out with the VeeFriends for a minute, thinking about them. It's fun to watch someone drawing sometimes. See, if I would have closed this line right, I could have just filled that in real fast, but I didn't. I'm not going to noodle with it too much. Just going to get in there and color it up. He's got a real thin band of brown underneath his chin. Generous gerbil. Can't wait for the animations too. That we're gonna do some more animations based on the comics and things like that. You'll see on the social soonish. Bunch of new content. So we're gonna have a lot. We're gonna be putting out a lot more VeeFriends stuff. The comics are kind of driving that a bit. So um, picking the upcoming, future characters of the week, and it's kind of the vibe that we're going for right now. Is like we go maybe like think about it like sort of like a character or topic of the week, and then focusing on that. So this week we're focused a little bit on generous gerbil here and the topic of generosity, and I mean we can't cover it all in 6 strips or 7 strips, but the whole topic is much bigger. But I think my goal is to have people ask themselves, like, when's the last time that you gave without any expectation? You just wanted to help. You gave something, your time, your money, your knowledge, patience to something. Curious. Put a little green blanket here. I don't think I'm the only one that does that. Like if I have a laptop or something on my lap, I like to have like a coat or like a hoodie or a blanket or something to kind of. I don't actually like it sitting right on my pants or jeans or anything like that. Whether it gets too hot or I don't know. I don't know why I do that. I've seen other people do it though, so that's what I got going on with Turbo. It's kind of cozy. Just chilling out on his floor. Cool. Great. The arms are brown. A little band of brown underneath. Also, if I'm drawing, I was talking earlier about drawing in public, which I don't mind doing. if it's especially if it's like an event or something, we'll be doing some events and I'll be drawing at some of the events. Um, but if it's like my normal life and I'm drawing at a coffee shop or something, and I'm trying to like accomplish some goal, like I'm trying to get something done, that can be a little bit stressful for me if I have to talk to like strangers. I'm not sitting there drawing to try to get attention, you know? And I know that it draws attention, so I try to be very kind when people are like, "Oh, what are you drawing there? Oh, cartoons. That's pretty cool." And then it just takes me out of the creative space a little bit. So, but you know what? I can't be mad about it. If I chose to go work at a coffee shop or something and people are interested, it's going to slow me down. I'm not going to move as fast as I would at home or away from the computer. I like to step away from this computer occasionally because I got this big computer in front of me that for reference or whatever, but it's so easy to fall into a rabbit hole where you're like, "Oh, I wonder about that thing." Or you get that random thing in your mind that you're like, "Oh, I'm just going to check that out real fast. Just check in on this factor." And then before you know it, it's like a half an hour went by and you're like, "Oh man, darn it." But I've been doing a lot of like writing and roughing out ideas as they come. So a couple weeks worth of comics behind the scenes that are roughed out and you know that will kind of decide which ones are the best ones to go full production on. I've found especially I've learned a lot in the past you know what is this month 4 months of doing this pretty much every day. I've learned that definitely my brain is more creative in the morning. Like it's like the ideas are flowing. If I'm walking the dog and it's 5 a.m., I'm like capturing ideas as I'm walking, or if I'm in the shower, or after the shower, if I'm like, okay, time to, even these streams here, like yesterday I didn't have a stream in the morning. What was I doing at 8:30 in the morning? I was writing, I was ideating and like sketching some stuff out for feature strips. Um, because in the afternoon I could do like the more not robotic, but like the more automated, automatic processes like inking and coloring, the actual penciling and writing, getting these poses down and things takes a little bit more uh, concentration, and I can't really get distracted with that stuff. I can maybe do it on a stream because I'm not really distracted on a stream. I can just look up and see what you guys are up to in the chats. I do like to do that. Good morning, IG Live with Angela over on Instagram. Just saw your comment there. But yeah, I'm always thinking about ways to better the comic, and we have some cool, hopefully we'll do the thing. Like I think about like we're making all these plans behind the scenes and we can't talk about a lot of them, but we can talk about some of our process. I think that's kind of interesting to people. How do the comics come up? How do we come up with the comics? And why do we choose to pick this character over that character? Like, I think those are interesting conversations. I don't know. They're interesting things to talk about. Like I want to know, and I'm the one doing it. I'm curious as to my own thoughts or the team's thoughts. Like if I was a fan, I am a fan, but I'm also drawing this. But it's like, what? I'm curious, deeper, deeper, deeper. Like, why do we choose the things that we choose, or what's funny, or what do we want it to be funny? Like, what is it? Like, you know, like, do people like the funnier things, or do they like? Is it a mix? Is it like sometimes I think it's a mix. So it's like sometimes the comics are funny, sometimes they make you think, sometimes they make you cry, sometimes you know a, a thoughtfulness. I don't feel like people want to be preached to. You know, like life lessons are good and all, but I'm mindful of the. Do we want to have every comic be a lesson or something? I don't know. That might be a little too heavy for a comic strip. How wacky do we want to get? How crazy? Because like these characters they're little critters. Like they're fun. Like they get into some stuff. They get up to some stuff. How crazy do we want to go? I don't know. I don't want to go totally super wacky with the characters, but I can turn off the hamster there. Or hamster, I keep calling him hamster. Generous gerbil. Which character is my favorite overall? Not to draw, but just my favorite overall. That's a question from IG Live with Angelo on Instagram. My favorite to draw overall, honestly, would be Alert Ape. That's definitely my favorite to draw overall. I like slip him into things, where he's in the last panel there. I think it's just because like I like the color scheme. I don't know what it is about him. Like I like to draw monkeys. I think, and he must have appeared again, right? A couple of times in this month. Like it's just like cute. Like there he is at the Losers Club, like thinking about basketball. Like, oh, that's my alarm that says I should probably stop. Here I threw him in here, so like it's interesting to see like which ones I gravitate towards. Here I threw him in here, just because like I just like him. I don't know, it's fun. Can't say really why, except for he's just fun to draw. I used to cop out and say my favorite VeeFriend was the one that I was drawing at the moment, but not true. If I could find a way to put Alert Ape in this comic, I would. Gonna go with like a purplish gray laptop. Wait, I'm not on the right layer. I was. Okay, great. Sweet. Oops. Actually, darken that up a little bit. Yep, yep, yep. All right, cool. Sorry, I broke the other camera this morning, so you can't see the hand feed. Oh, but messed it up. Part of the live streaming process, I suppose. I am going to take off here. Thanks for watching today's stream. Go check out read tomorrow's comic to find out what's going on in this comic here. Appreciate you guys watching and hanging out. I'll be back Monday, live streaming TikTok only, and then I don't know what the schedule is next week because I'll be in New York on Wednesday and Thursday. So and I'll be traveling on Friday. So live streams might be a little bit different next week, but definitely Monday TikTok only. And cool. We'll see you guys real soon. Appreciate you watching. Stay generous out there, and I'll talk to you